Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox on the Iconic Video Games channel. I am your host, Axel1324.
And I am CoolCatTerri.
I'm DREADPOOL.
All right. And welcome, everybody. Man, so 4th of July just passed not too long ago here. Yeah.
Yep.
This last week. Did you do anything, Terry?
I worked on my car.
Worked on your car, all right.
I worked on my car.
What, while dodging fireworks or what?
No, I didn't do anything with fireworks.
I see. What about you, Dread? What'd you do?
We had what we call a pool party. It wasn't really a pool, but it was a inflatable slip and slide, and did a sort of an extended birthday party for my daughter, so that way we actually had more people. And it was just the family, and now we opened it up to more friends and blew a whole bunch of stuff up, so I got some of that on video, but I'm trying to edit it because I got kids in bathing suits, and you can't have that stuff, so I gotta
Probably safer not to.
Yeah, so I gotta go through all that, but I got some really cool shots on some fireworks. Put the phone underneath one of the what I forgot they're even called now, but the ones you put them in the tubes.
The artillery shells?
Yes. So, and put the 360 camera about 5 feet away, and I'm like, man, I could have probably put it closer.
Well, if you want to blow it up, if something goes wrong,
the footage looks cool. Some of it, because I'm looking at it down as a tiny planet, you just see it like dwarfing over the camera. Some of the ones we bought were low flying, and some of the ones were high flying. So the low flying actually lit up the ground more. It was really cool effect because it didn't go up as high, and as they were still lit up as they were getting closer to the ground. The ones up high looked really cool, but they just didn't have that same effect.
Nice.
But it's fun trying to edit all this stuff.
I did some artillery shells. I did the big ones this year. In Texas, you can only get 500 grams. Like the totality of your firework that you buy can only be 500 grams. So I bought like a 6-shooter with 500 grams. And so, each shell is like 90 grams or whatever, right? And one of them didn't build the tube pressure to launch high enough in the air, and it blew up, and it was still lit as it hit the ground. So I had to go and inspect the tube, make sure that it wasn't broken to see if I could launch the rest of them. And it was. So
yeah, we did that. We had a couple cakes. So yeah.
Why do people call them cakes?
Because they're a square box.
Yeah, I understand. I get it, I guess. But to me, they've always been called repeaters.
We've called them cakes ever since I've ever known them.
Chat, let us know what you call them. Do you call them
I've
cakes
always
or
known
repeaters?
them as cakes. Yeah.
Or cakes.
Yeah.
I call them repeaters.
In case you guys are wondering, it's a big square box that you light up, and it's like the finale show technically, because there's just like so much going on there. You have like 50 shots, 25 shots, 35 shots. So what do you guys call them?
Yeah, I call them repeaters. I've always called them repeaters.
Should that be a poll?
Should we? Let's do it.
Let's do a poll.
First poll of the day. Start a poll.
A poll because of a pool.
What do you call these square boxes? What do you call the square box fireworks? I guess is the question. Fireworks. Are they cakes or repeaters?
Oh, I looked it up to find out why we say cake.
Because it looks like a cake?
No, because it comes from the Romans.
Oh.
So it has to do with if you have a bunch of candles fused together. It was basically they called it a cake. That was like their terminology for it. So blame the Romans.
Stupid Romans. Yeah. Let me see. So here I typed in firework repeaters, and of course, look what comes up. The box of repeaters here.
Look, it says testing some of the best firework cakes I've ever seen.
Yes.
That's right. Oh, here we go. Skyfire, a 500-gram repeater.
Yeah, but that's the funny part is the one right above it. Even though you said
your first result was a cake.
This guy has his search algorithm down. Yeah, let's check in with the chat while they're voting. By the way, chat, be sure to vote. Doggy Dog joins us. Shout out to Doggy Dog. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, buddy. It's Timoth comes in. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Timoth. You are the real MVP. And Doggy, don't worry. You are also the real MVP, buddy. Lost Boomer. We're doing a bunch of emojis. I got to go to the YouTube side to see them. And it's Pick Hand Wave. Okay, yeah. Hey, thank you so much, Lost Boomer, for waving your pink hands at us. We appreciate you. Doggy right away. You lost. Oh, yo lost. Oh, yo. I thought he said you lost. Let's see. Anybody else in the chat? So be sure to say hi in the chat. We got Crazy Greek Dude joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, Crazy Greek Dude. We appreciate you. Hey, you got your fellow Crazy Greeks in here. There, Dread.
Yes, we do.
Let's see. We got Fastback and LG joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, Fastback. We appreciate you. And Sir X-Man joins us, man. He had a really funny topic going on Friday. Shout out to Sir X-Man. We appreciate you, buddy. Let's see. Cyber Gunther comes in. He says, good morning, gamers. Thank you so much for joining us, Cyber Gunther. You are the real MVP. And I think that's it for people. If I missed you, be sure to type so I can say hello. And we appreciate each and every one of you being here. By the way, guys, be sure to hit that like button. It really helps us get discovered on the YouTube algorithm, especially because we're live. It puts us in more people's faces. So we would really appreciate those thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe as well. All right, I think that's enough time for voting. Oh man. Terry, what are the results? What do they call these?
100% cakes. You did lose.
They call repeaters. I don't care what any of y'all say.
You lost.
I did. All right. First topic of the day. If I can pull up my topic list real quick here. Is Ubisoft. That's right. Ubisoft. Terry, I wanted a Ubisoft topic just for you. Too bad it wasn't good news.
Had to get the stuff with the Ubi.
The Ubisoft, right?
Ubi.
So Ubisoft, in case you guys don't know, has been punishing its player base for doing something that the game allows you to do. So let me see. Division for its own mistakes. Here we go. So I got this article from thegamer.com. It's a smaller website, in case you guys haven't heard of it. But here we go. Let's see if it pops up. There we go. I'm going to do it like this. There we go. So the Gamer says Ubisoft shouldn't be punishing the Division players for its own mistakes. So what's happening is that, as you know, Ubisoft The Division has a grind, right? And the gamers take the path of least resistance to grind for things. And they found a bug, an exploit, if you will, that allows them to grind for gear much faster. It allows them to grind for XP, for gear a lot quicker. So a lot of people have been doing it. And instead of fixing the exploit, Ubisoft has been banning people for 2 weeks. Let's see. What I don't agree right here, this is totally 100% my statement. What I don't agree with is treating these players like cheaters and punishing them with a 2-week timeout for trying to do the thing that games have always conditioned us to do: grind efficiently. Thank you. That's right. So Ubisoft's approach has been to punish the gamer. Terry, you're a resident Ubisoft person. Well, what do you got?
I feel like we don't have enough information on. I don't play Division anymore, so this has to do with the new year 5 content that they just rolled out. So I haven't played it, so I don't know exactly what's involved in doing this exploit. Like, is this one of those things where you have to go through a whole bunch of crap and that you're taking advantage and you're cheating to make this work, or is this something where you're just playing and it just happened? If it's something and you're playing and it just happened, then yeah, Ubi's in the wrong. But if it's something where you're doing this and this intentionally to take advantage, then I say you're the cheater and good riddance. But like I said, I haven't played this content to know what hoops you're jumping through to make this exploit happen. So I can't. I don't really want to put in. I can't really say anything on it because I haven't played it and I don't know enough about it. I don't want to jump to conclusions. I feel like this article is definitely an opinion piece, and they're just jumping to a conclusion, and they don't specify how you do the exploit. So like, why are they keeping that information out? It's because it allows them to push their opinion.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I don't like stuff like that, man. I don't like stuff like that. Like, I mean, at least explain the exploit. How does it work? Like, so I can actually, so people can understand, is these people legitimately cheating, or is this something where, you didn't know was actually happening? Like, there's no explanation on this exploit. So I can't. I gotta know more.
All right, so let me see. I'm reading around. Let me see if I can find you some more. Okay, the Divisions 2 XP exploit allowing players to join descent matches, and gaining large amounts of XP and SHD levels. So it has to do with a game mode. Let's see.
Because I remember this was way back when I cared about.
Okay,
Division.
so it has to do with the drop-in, drop-out multiplayer. So you can join a descent match, and if the descent match is close to ending, you will get all the XP for the descent match.
Okay, so if it's just happening because of a bug like that,
yeah, that's all it is.
Then I would say Ubisoft is in the wrong. But if it's something to where, like I said, like there's been other exploits in Division in the past where people would, purposely go to certain sections of the map to, go through the map and cheat while they're doing PvP. Yeah, get rid of those people. They're intentionally cheating. But like someone like that, if it's just during matchmaking, then yeah, that's unavoidable. And that's unfortunate. But I don't know, man. I feel like if you're intentionally quitting matches on purpose just so you can constantly go through matchmaking just to do it that way, then I see that you're definitely being a cheater then. Because if you're doing that, then yeah, you're not just happen to have it happen and then you play the next match. If you're intentionally quitting to be in matchmaking to have that happen, then no, you're doing it. That's intentional.
So it has to do with the drop-in, drop-out multiplayer and descent matches. Or I don't know if descent is a PvP match or it's a PvE match. But I'm gonna assume it's PvE if it allows some sort of drop-in, drop-out like this. And when you get close to the end, you get if the level ends, even though you didn't play the whole match, you get all the XP and the gear as if you did.
It could be PvP because the whole dark zone for Division, you can come and go when as you please. Dark Zone doesn't have matchmaking, so I don't know how Descent works because, like I said, I haven't played this new content. But in the history of Division, there's never been an issue with drop-in, drop-out with PvP. So
right.
They might.
So it's something the game's doing by itself, and people just noticed it. Is that fair that Ubisoft is punishing them?
Again, like I said,
instead of patching their game?
Again, if you know that this is happening and you're intentionally dropping in, dropping out to get it, then I see you as a cheater because now you're doing it intentionally to get the benefit.
All right. Well, there you go. You're a cheater, according to Terry. Cheetos.
Because again, it comes with intent. If it happened to you randomly and then you just played normal, then that's different. But I feel like if you knew that this was happening, you're going to have people who are going to be opportunistic and they're going to be like, oh, I can just get this for doing this, and I'm just going to keep doing it like this, and I'm not even going to play matches. Those people don't deserve that XP. So yeah, take it away.
You didn't earn it, you Cheetos.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Dragonheart Yobi for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, Dragonheart Yobi. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and help us get discovered. DREADPOOL, you joined a PvP or you joined a match, specifically a descent match. Through the game, no extra software, no extra hacks, no special hardware. You get there, it's close to the end of the match. You get extra XP, you get all the XP. Are you cheating?
Cheater, pumpkin eater. Of course I'm cheating. No, you're not. Think about it. If I understand you can make an orchestrated setup to get in and do this, but how do you know that the match is almost ending? How do you know? So I know there are people that will do this on purpose. I know people can do this on purpose. But at the same time, there will be many people that are just joining a match to join a match.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back into our past. One of your favorite games. One of the first guys to get legendary on Sea of Thieves did the same manipulation right here.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
did it
I
on purpose.
remember.
You remember? The whole
Yeah.
thing was, the whole community was focused in. They got all the treasures, everything that they had to turn in. They sent him a friend request, invited him to the game. He jumped in. They handed everything over and shot up all his levels right
Mm-hmm.
away, so he can get, be one of the first. I can't remember if he was actually the first or not, but there was a big push, and I think it was someone that was on Twitch, if I recall. But they were streaming all this. They were doing this
Yeah.
on purpose. They were literally manipulating the progress. This could be said also for this aspect. However, how do you know that somebody did this on purpose, other than catching them on stream, catching them, bragging about it, or putting it on Twitter or TikTok or any of that place? So yes, it's kind of cheating, but it's at the same time, it's not really. If you think about it,
I also
it's a hack that they allowed to happen. So if you don't want that to happen, then you shouldn't be able to jump in midstream or mid game. You shouldn't be able to come in until, if it's a 10-minute thing, you got to be there
to
at
be
least.
fair though, a lot of PvP games they'll have you join in and you have like a spectator thing. So everybody does that. So that's not something to be like, don't have that. I mean, that makes sense. This way you're ready to play, because they are short members because people quit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing is, people quitting out aren't getting anything because they quit out. It's the ones that are coming in at the very end to collect at the end, and that's the issue. If there's a problem with that, then they should fix it. So if you come in, you only earn your percentage of the match. Plain and simple. That's an easy fix.
Mm-hmm.
They know how long these matches are. They know how long you've been in there. They have all this data and tracking that they do for all this information. So it's an easy fix. They didn't do this, and now they're saying, "Oh, we screwed up," and people have figured out a way to hack. Think about it. Back in the days with Rainbow Six, we used to have people wall glitch and shoot through walls. And we were good enough that we would be able to shoot you through that wall glitch. And that was extremely hard to do. We would play garage, and as soon as we were up on the auto shop on the second, or the showroom on the second floor, we throw grenades and just annihilate people coming through the door, because that was the first thing they did, come through the garage into the showroom. And you're lined up with all these grenades coming at you.
You campers.
And it's like, no, the match starts, you throw grenades and you start running. Well, the grenades are wiping them out and you take out the rest.
That's so funny.
So is that a cheat or not? No, the wall hacks were cheats, because most people didn't know. But we knew where all that stuff was happening. We can actually circumvent it most of the times. Not all the times. There was times that you still couldn't shoot them. But you'd see them stick their head out, and you're like, I'm from behind you, as you're trying to aim down at the person in front of me, and you're like, bam. So it just depends on how you do it.
And which is what I was saying before, like it depends on how you're doing it. So like if you're quitting, because if you quit, you're not going to get any XP. But so let's say you did a really bad run and you're not going to get much XP. You just quit early so you can try to get into another match. And, you just keep quitting until you get into one where you come in late just to get easy XP. I mean, then you're definitely exploiting the exploit. You're a cheater.
That's a lot of hard work.
It's really not. It's really drop in, drop out, drop in, drop out, XP, drop in, drop out. I mean, it's not that complicated.
So a statement
takes about as much time as it would, playing a full match.
A statement from Ubisoft says, "We take these issues very seriously and are committed to maintaining a fair and enjoyable gaming environment for all players. We have thoroughly investigated this situation and identified individuals who have systematically used the exploits. The punishments include a rollback of progress for the time frame that the exploit was active. Those who have not received sanctions before will receive a 2-week suspension, while those that have been previously suspended will receive a permaban." Wow. a permaban for using what the game for doing what the game lets you do.
That's only for people.
You're not installing software. You're not aimbotting. You're not wall hacking. You're not using
talking about
controllers.
They did say that was people who have been suspended in the past. So this isn't like your first time and you get permaban. This was literally, we know you're a sleazeball, and this time we're done with it.
And again, it's systematically using these exploits.
Yeah, so it's probably so drop in, drop out on purpose.
Chances are to be doing that, they're going to see the rhythm. So
it's not just like the random guy who did it by accident. They're looking at repeat offenders who are doing this intentionally.
So if I play the Descent consistently, and I started Descent match, and it's not close to ending, I drop out. I started Descent match again. It's not close to ending. I drop out. I started Descent match again. I find one that's almost finished, and I get my my fast XP. Is that cheating, Terry?
I don't think so. But again, it depends on how they're doing this. Like I said, if they're saying systematically,
well, that's how I imagine they would be doing it.
Let's look at it this way.
Systematically, man. That means they're looking for people who are doing this a certain way. They're not just hitting everybody, which is what these other articles want you to think, because they're opinion pieces and they're not showing any facts or anything like that. They're just they read an article or they read a headline and they're running with it. That's most of these journalists do. They don't do any actual investigative reporting, man.
I'm a journalist.
Let's look at it this way. And I know this is kind of a bad topic for some people, but let's use it as an example. Gamblers, when you have people that can actually count cards, is that considered cheating?
Yes, they can kick out the casino.
It shouldn't, because it's natural to the game. It's just what you naturally notice. Mathematical logarithm.
You get kicked out of the casino for that.
But it's not illegal.
It is to the casino.
Yeah, they'll ban you from their establishment.
To them, it's considered cheating. Yeah. Okay, because you have an advantage over everybody else. Okay, so when you're looking at it and you can count the cards, you know what's going on in each person's hand, and this is by you're looking at the percentages, the odds. So more than likely, when you start counting cards, the percentage or the chance that this person's going to have this and that, where the best hand is going to be, and then you can kind of go from there, because you remember. Okay, so is it truly cheating? No, you just have a better advantage. It's like being able to write down what everything popped up,
right,
and still be able to go back to it and use those notes. They're doing it in their head, where you and I would have to write it down. This is sort of the same thing. Is it really cheating? No, but they're using it to their advantage, and I think that's why they're saying that they are systematically using the exploit.
I agree with you, Dread. And I see it the same way as, let's say you have a dealer who is dealing the cards, and he or she happens to grab cards from the bottom of the deck to help somebody else. That could be seen as an in-game glitch. That's still cheating.
Exactly. That could be the wall glitch.
Yes.
So again, you have to play, and this is something that they need to fix. Okay, so this is a Ubisoft mistake.
Definitely.
However, they're using it and exploiting it, and that's the problem. Is now that they know it's being rampant across the board, where everybody's jumping up higher than they should be, they're not playing the game as they should. Because if I say no tag backs, but then you figure out a way to tag me back, okay, so you just manipulated the game.
Yeah.
Right.
So going back to your gambling thing, right? But let's go with roulette, right? Because when I gamble, I go roulette because I've done the math. I know how to gamble on roulette to win 60% of the time, right? It's not going to be big wins, and I'm not going to hit like a 40-1 or whatever, right? But I'm going to, my $20 pile is going to turn into $400 over time, and it doesn't matter how many times they switch the roulette wheel. I will always be at a 60%. Advantage, because I know mathematically what to do. Am I cheating?
No, because that's more chance than cards.
So is cards. I mean, even though
you're
there's a chance that card you're counting might not come out.
If you're counting the cards, you know where they are. when you're spinning the ball on the roulette table, you still have friction and inertia, going against you.
And the
gravity.
wheels are switched out often to change the counterweights.
Right, because you don't want, and that's the thing though. When it comes to roulette, there's more unpredictability.
But I always make money. I have never lost money since I figured this out.
All right, well, me and you will go to Vegas, okay? But
sounds good. Let's do it.
It's still an unpredictability because no one is actually manipulating the ball other than the wheel. The wheel, gravity, all these factors in physics are what is manipulating the ball. Okay, when it comes to cards, it's only the dealer shuffle and everybody that has played their hand is coming out. This is the same thing here. Everybody that has played their hand, you can see, and then you can say, okay, this is the match I stay in versus no, this is the match I bounce out of. Because this is not going to have a good outcome for me to stay here. That's the thing. That's where the difference is with roulette. That's, bouncing around and kind of going there. But you don't know 100% that it will always happen this way.
Okay, so then let's just pretend we agree that this is cheating, right? Should Ubisoft be banning players, though, for something they put in? So, like, I'm going to use a different game. Tears of the Kingdom had a duplication glitch, right? Where you could duplicate anything in the game endlessly, including the most expensive stuff you can sell, right? So you could duplicate all this stuff and endlessly, and instead of, I don't know, banning the players that you did it, they patched the game to remove the duplication glitch. They never punished anybody.
Yes, but here, there's a difference. You're only playing and you're only taking away from yourself, right?
Right.
It's your experience and only your experience. Here, on Ubisoft, you're taking away from others.
Yeah, it's different when there's a PvP.
You haven't earned that glitch reward per se. You glitched the reward. You haven't earned it like everybody else on that team had earned it. So now you're taking a jump forward. Like I said with Sea of Thieves, same thing. That guy didn't earn it, but he got fast tracked there. And that's the thing is if you get fast tracked because of the way that the system's designed, was it truly a glitch? Was it truly a cheat? That's really where it kind of is. Ethically, it's not right.
And I want to also mention that the article kind of makes it sound like shame on Ubisoft, like this is like the first time anyone's ever heard of something like this happening. It's like Ubi isn't the first dev to punish players for exploiting bugs and glitches. Okay, others have done it. All right, EA did it with FIFA. All right, there was an in-game glitch in FIFA. Was it 22 or whatever?
That's right. You got to get that Ronaldo card,
man. They were banning people. They didn't do. They straight up banned people for that. They had like a temporary ban or whatever. EA did that. So these guys are doing a rollback on the XP. And they're only, doing permabans on the people who have been, in trouble in the past. Okay, they're not permabanning random people, And they did say systematically. That means they've looked into it to try to, so they can tell the difference between the people who were just playing the game and just happen to have it happen to them.
You're gonna have less than 1% chance of someone accidentally falling into this. If you think about it, because if they're looking at it and they're saying systematically, now the question is, are they truly going through it and one by one saying, okay, yes, this person is systematically, because they watched what was going on. They watched the replays. They watched all this information come up and say, oh, he's only been in this match for 5 seconds and then they bounce. They've been in the next one for 5-10 seconds before they bounce. And here they are at this last one where it's only got a minute left and they're sticking around and they're winning because and that's why they stuck around. You can kind of see that rhythm, and that's the whole thing, that they systematically look. Now whether or not they did that, it's another story, but we have to take them at face value that they said that they're using it systematically. So, and if they're doing it like that, then
get rid of them. Get rid of them.
I mean,
roll back those numbers.
And that's the thing, is nobody likes to see other people advance at their misfortune. How many times you see that you're playing your best and this person just pops in and they're just like coming out of nowhere with nothing. And it's like, how did you even do that? You know, you benefited out of my work, and I'm still back here, and you're bouncing around benefiting out of everybody else's work, where you should have been grinding like the rest of us and earned your way up.
So this is a video called "How to Break the Set Mode, XP Farm and Exploit the Division." So this is
So
how
they
you do it.
literally made a tutorial on how to cheat.
They made a tutorial on how to cheat. Now, of
That's
course, I didn't put
cheating,
any
man.
volume on it
literally-
because I'm not going to
Dude.
put that on there.
Dude, if they literally made a video to show people how to do this exploit, then it's definitely cheating. It's definitely cheating. All right, that seals the deal, man. If it's not, you know what I mean? Like if you're going out of your way to make a video to show people how to do it, and then you're doing it, you're cheating. Okay, you're not just randomly having it happen to you. This is going out of the way to exploit. They're cheaters. They're cheaters.
The cheaters. Terry has decided.
I've spoken.
Oh no! Oh, what's this crap here? Fastback says they're only banning Denver Bronco fans. Whatever. You know what? The Super Bowl has banned the Cowboys since the 90s. Oh. And shout out to Noof Nukem who joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Noof. You are the real MVP. Yeah. And Lost Boomer said he has tweeted out. Absolutely. I saw it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Yeah, but I'm not going to finish showing that because this is not the right channel for that. But it's like a 7-minute video. It's not that long if you really think about it in terms of PvP cheating.
Yeah, but I don't see anybody bouncing in and out. So I don't. Again,
yeah, I'm trying to.
I don't know how. I haven't. You know, we don't have any audio. So how much of that is him just explaining what to do without him actually doing it, and him just playing?
Right.
You know, it literally could be him just playing and giving an explanation of how to do it without doing it. So
yeah,
we would have to hear the audio. So they could. Yeah. So it might be. He might be telling people to do that.
The Ubisoft Connect app. So it's obviously PC. PC cheaters again.
Dude, the Connect app tends to not want to work that much on Xbox. I will admit that. Like, I try to go into the Connect app to grab my rewards and stuff, and it won't even flip and load half the time, or it freezes on me. So, Ubi, get your Connect stuff in order on Xbox. It sucks.
While you're busy patching this glitch, be sure to get that Connect app to work. And shout out to the Graphic God joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Graphic God. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP here. All right, well, I think if the game lets you do it, why not?
Oh,
that's my opinion. Why not?
They need to fix it. Whatever.
Fix it.
However,
they need to fix it.
However it is, they need to figure out a way to fix it. Or the fix could be your percentage. You get a certain percentage of the time played.
They didn't mention they were going to do rollbacks, so they would look at so they would roll back all your XP from the moment that the content launched. So.
Yeah, as you see, that's more fair to me, in my opinion. Like if I find an exploit and I use it, because I'm not beyond it, I will exploit every game. Why not? Like, I am not beyond an exploit. I will do it. I used Game Genie back in the day. All right.
Yeah, but
I
again,
am not beyond exploits. I
support it if you're doing a PvE thing where there's that's different. If it's a competitive game, then you're cheating. Don't do it.
Yeah, that's my Doggy's with me. Doggy knows this. I'll be honest. If I was a division player, I'd be doing this exploit. Absolutely. You tell him, Doggy. Why should we be punished for playing the game?
Because, like you like to say, Axel, you got to get good. You're not getting good.
The problem is, here's the way I look at it. If I'm playing by your rules and I'm winning, you shouldn't be upset with me because I'm playing by your rules. These are the rules you set. So that's why I said it's a catch-22. It's hard to be able to nail this one down to say what the problem is without actually knowing more information on that. But at the same time, you know it's an exploit, and now you know that you're doing it on purpose. So that's where I have an issue with. Okay, it's like, all right, we know that there's a problem here, just like the wall hacks.
Yeah. Just being honest here, I've been doing it on purpose.
But again, Zelda is different.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, if it lets me do it, I would. Like Sea of Thieves used to have like a quick switch between weapons, where you could fire 2 guns essentially as quickly as possible. so you could like shoot someone with a pistol and then snipe them immediately before the first bullet even got there, so they would take double damage. It was part of the game. Just quick swap the guns, and people who figured it out were so much better at PV when you ran into other pirates, right? And eventually they added a time, like after you switch guns, they added a pause between, being able to shoot, because it was unfair to console players, even though I could do it on my controller because I'm just like, I practiced, right? But it was I was using what the game let me do to have an advantage over other PvP other pirates I would run into, because the point was to kill them first.
Well, to be fair, the point is you guys are pirates. You're supposed to be, a bunch of sleazeballs.
Yeah,
you're pirates. You're pirates.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rain Man is Axel. And Doggy Dog right here. Play the hand you're dealt. Absolutely. If I'm dealt some extra XP, hey, I was just dealt some extra XP over and over and over again.
I don't know. I think you were, you saved that ace in your sleeve is what that was.
The ace in your sleeve. So I get that dead man's hand going. No, give shout out. So he says, the division, what's that, mathematics? And Sir X-Men says, I've been saying this for quite a while. It's the testers of the games that don't find these flaws because you didn't look for the problems. Testers are... There's the way the game is meant to be played, and then there's the way the game is going to be played.
There's different kinds of testers, though, too.
Right. And, so some of these people, they'll just keep trying stuff until they find something.
That's the problem, is some of these bugs are so...
Random.
Yeah, so random, and these games are so big, it's hard to find everything, and that's the problem. And that's why everybody's like, oh, we're beta testing for them when they release the game. Well, of course, because there's no way, there's not enough time, even with AI, to be able to go through it and find everything, because these guys come up with. I mean, we used to do the Halo on, what was it, Zanzibar, where you'd glitch out of the level.
Yeah.
And we were just doing it just because people were doing that to us and killing us, and we were trying to figure out how they were doing it. We knew how they were doing it, but we couldn't set it up, and we would never really do it when we were playing against other people. But we were trying to figure out way to, again, like I said, with the wall glitching from the first division, trying to figure out a way that we can access them to kill them because of what they've done. So that's the problem. And trying to, people will find ways to do something that no one would ever think of doing.
Right.
And this is one of those things. They try to get out of the map just so that way they would have an advantage that they would never be able to be seen, but yet their bullets can come through and take the kills.
Yeah. It's real cheating, I am agree with, but exploiting, it's there, man. That's like me having a 275 horsepower car and never, getting it up to like 100 miles an hour. It's there. I'm gonna eventually get there. If I get caught, I get caught. It's all right, but I'm gonna do it.
Dude, that's like the worst analogy.
So shout out to Christian Gaming TV. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. What do you mean? Okay, you have a nice car, right, Terry?
Yeah.
It goes fast. You're telling me you're never going to drive your car fast?
Not on the street.
Not on the street, no. That's why we have tracks. You can go to the track, you literally can go to the track and they'll be like, yo, you rent out a time to do whatever you want on the track. Like, you do it there. Do it there. Don't do it on the street. I hate it when people do that stuff on the street. Because you're jeopardizing, people's lives. Don't do that,
But I'm also not unrealistic. Like, if I got caught doing this glitch, I'd be like, all right, I got it. It was fun while it lasted, kind of thing,
Okay, but if you've been caught several times doing stuff like that, you will be banned. You will be banned. Whether it's losing your license, getting a nice pair of bracelets, getting a new house to live in, new roommates. That's on you, because you knew what you were doing.
Hey, just because your car can, exceed the speed limit doesn't mean you're supposed to. Okay, you're gonna lose your license.
Most cars can exceed the speed limit. It doesn't have to be a hot rod.
But it's an exploit. I can go faster.
Officer, I wasn't breaking the law. I was exploiting the car.
Exploiting.
All right. That was
It's
fun.
a feature that came with my car, man. I can go this fast.
It's a feature that came with my car.
No, it doesn't work that way, man.
You know, and then you know what happens is Ubisoft in real life turns around and says, you know what, we'll make these cars less powerful. We'll make them only be able to hit top speed because of the gearing.
But those limiters
on miles an hour. Yeah,
those governors.
But you don't even have to put the governor on. You just don't put the gearing up.
Oh,
you put less gear.
That's so funny.
You have less power. You can't stop it off the line. You can't, you know what I mean? So now it takes you 5 minutes just to cross the line.
Like a semi truck.
You know, we're gonna go back into the late 70s, early 80s where the cars were.
We're gonna give Axel an old like an old MGB. It has 30 horsepower, max speed is 75. He probably will get killed if he enters the interstate. So don't do it. That's your
I used to drive an old Chevy Metro, like the old 3-cylinder Chevy Metro. That thing going downhill with a tailwind probably could hit 60 miles an hour. Probably, but I remember going up a hill and I think top speed was like 25 miles and I was pedal to the metal.
He put the brick on the gas pedal and got out and pushed.
So fun. All right, let's move it along here. Terry, how does the chat feel about The Division, though?
All right. Is this Descent exploit cheating? 57% said no. Ubisoft should just patch it. 42% said it's sort of cheating. Nobody is in agreement with Nino banning people.
That's right, because it's an exploit.
But it's pretty close between cheating and not cheating.
Yeah, it's in there. Let's check in with the chat. Let's see. Lost Boomer says the OG Demon Souls there was a duplication exploit glitch. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. I used it because I could. All right. Let's see. Halo glitches in the past were fun. Yeah, I remember them. Like Halo 2, when somebody hits you with the sticker grenade and you just grind on the wall and it will fall off. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't consider that a glitch. That should be that's
just physics.
Yeah. Something stuck to me and I scraped it off on the wall. I should be able to get away from it.
That's right. And here he said, Lost Boomer says, dropping all 30 zones to 20 in the UK. And shout out to Web Dave who joined us. Thank you so much for coming in, Wave Dave. We appreciate you. Be sure to hit that like button, guys. It helps us really get discovered, especially on the YouTube discovery page. It helps us get recommended to more gamers.
Don't forget to share it out.
Yeah, and share it out
to get everybody else to come in here.
Absolutely.
And laugh.
All right, that's enough cheat talk. Totally lost my spot. All right. So, if you guys haven't heard, it's all but been confirmed that there will be a PlayStation upgrade of some kind. Whether some people are calling it a Slim, some people are calling it a Pro, and Xbox has come out and said that they're not going to do a mid-gen upgrade. And I went into a Twitter thread. I should have saved it. And lots of people were angry that Xbox was not going to do a mid-gen upgrade. They felt that it was that they were going to just allow PlayStation to capture more hearts and minds of gamers if they did a Gen 9.5. Kind of like last gen when we had the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. Now, we're about to have possibly a PS5 Pro, more powerful, but no Xbox counterpunch. And some people are not in agreement with that. And some people like me don't care, but we're going to get into that later. First, let's say shout out to Dan the Man Cunningham. He says, hey, all, how's everybody doing today? We're doing great, Dan the Man Cunningham. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Terry, mid-gen upgrades. First off, did you do them last gen?
I never do them. I find mid-gen upgrades to be the most deceptive waste of money a gamer can do. Because you sit there and you pay more money to get the same console you got for the promise of better hardware, which you will get. But guess what? They never, ever, ever make games to utilize that hardware. So you're paying more and not being able to even use it. It's just don't. It's a waste of money. I am fully against mid-gen upgrades. And to be fair, I feel like this new Series S that's coming out technically could be a mid-gen upgrade. Yeah. So technically, I think that it's better than the previous one, right? So therefore, they do have a mid-gen. It's just for the S, which honestly is all that would need it, because they haven't made a single game yet that fully utilizes the X. So why would we need an upgrade for hardware that we're not using already? Again, this is why I hate mid-gen upgrades. It's a waste of money. People fall into it every time because they want the newest tech so they can brag. Well, I got my XL. I got the new Series XL. It's better.
Yeah.
It's better than yours. But you're not even using any of that stuff. So no, I've always been against these upgrades. It's just another money grab that the companies can utilize.
All right. DREADPOOL, did you upgrade last gen?
Yes and no. Yeah, I had.
There's no yes or no. You either bought it or you didn't.
No, well, I bought the OG Xbox One.
Yeah.
I skipped out on the S model, and I bought the X model. So I skipped out on the S upgrade, but I bought the X upgrade. So yes and no. I skipped, but I didn't. Now here's the other question. I do have a question here. It still pertains to what we're talking about. Terry,
yeah.
This is for you. Did you buy the OG 360? The white one?
Yes.
Okay. Did you buy the Elite version, the black one that came out? Okay. Well, perfect. Which, because that's fine. Some people did, some people didn't. Now, did you buy the Slim?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious because
like I said, I've never done it. I buy the one.
You're one of the lucky ones that didn't have red ring of death.
I buy the one and I use it until it dies.
That's what I'm getting at. You're one of the lucky ones that bought a launch white console that didn't have a red ring of death.
Yeah, mine didn't have a red ring of death. The only issue I had with my 360 is all of them had at some point had issues with the disk drive.
No, I didn't have that.
Up. So, but you could fix it. You know what I mean?
No, but that's what I was getting at. Some people don't consider that a mid-gen upgrade until the Slim model came out. That's when they started. But if you look at some of these other consoles, that's what they're doing. Some of them are doing mid-gen upgrades. Now, when it comes to the competitor, PlayStation, you look at the PlayStation 5, there's 3 iterations, and each iteration, the actual board is smaller and smaller. So if they keep up with what they have and they're making it smaller, yes, that would be your Slim. That would be your PlayStation 5 Slim, whatever. They're going to make a smaller console per se on that aspect. At the same time, they can also be making a Pro, which would fix some of the issues that they're having with their design. So when you look at it, so they could have both, and people are not even thinking about that. More than likely, they're going Slim, and depending on how they're looking at it, there is a good possibility that there will be a Pro also. Maybe not the same year, but chances are there will be something like that. Now, on the Xbox side, CoolCatTerri brought it up too, and I was going to bring it up myself, was they said that they're not going to do it, but they technically already have, which is the Xbox Series S, carbon version, which is the 1 terabyte. That's an upgrade. Again, when you look at the Slim on the 360 and either the Elites or the launch 360s, you look at those, and most people would not consider that, they would consider that an upgrade. But when you look at the Xbox One, right, the OG Xbox One, and then you had the OG Xbox One Elite, which had a hybrid drive. It had SSD and a hard drive combined as one.
There was a One Elite? I don't remember that.
The 360 did the same thing. They had a lot of iterations where the hard drive was a different size. from like the
Yeah, but
basic one to the arcade, and I can't remember all the different iterations they had. They were just upgrading the hard drive space on all of them.
Yeah, either you didn't have one or you had one, and then you got bigger hard drives. But the One Elite was a hybrid hard drive.
You're thinking of the 360 Elite.
No, one.
I'm going to look for this 360 Elite because I never heard of it.
The 360 Elite was a black launch model. But basically the same thing. Just they updated the board a little bit. There's a Xbox One and then an Xbox One Elite. The Elite had a combo.
I'll be damned. There really is an Xbox One.
Trust me, I know. Is that not why I'm here for Good Morning Xbox? But again,
and it was paired with the Elite controller. What?
Okay. Again, you look at it, and you most people didn't. It was an upgrade, but most people didn't consider it an upgrade. It's not a mid-gen refresh; it's an upgrade. So so again, you have to look at it, because I got into fights with everybody on these different little, I guess, upgrades or newer paths. Because you look at the One and the 1S, right?
Yeah.
Those chips are totally different. It's actually 5% faster than the One. The S is, okay? So when you look at it like that, is that technically an upgrade? No, it's so you're looking at paths that here's the next version. Here's your next version. What is a version? It's the next generation of that piece, okay? But you're not going from a 1.0 to a 2.0. You're going from a 1.0 to a 1.1. Okay, so when you look at it in software, is it not like an iteration of the same one until you hit the next jump? So in those terms, yes, they've updated certain pieces, but they're not an upgrade. Okay, and then you get to a point where eventually there's enough updates that it is an upgrade. But that's a fine line when you get to that, because we don't right now. Do we still have a hybrid drive? No. We went back to standard drives, and now that we're on the next gen, we have SSD drives.
SSDs, Gen 9, baby.
Okay, so you're looking at these NVMEs, which are basically not even NVMEs. They're not even that. That's the problem, is people don't realize that they just say SSD, and you're thinking most people understand a SATA SSD as the same thing as an NVMe SSD, and it's not the same thing. The SATAs are a solid state drive based on the hard drive format. Then you have an NVMe, which is a totally different thing. Okay. But what we have here in the series consoles are not even that. And that's why the prices haven't dropped. That's why it's taken so long for these prices to drop on these cards. These are a form of a compact flash card for high-tech camera gear. That's what these are. They're not even a true NVMe in the true sense, like they're putting in a PlayStation 5. Totally different technology, but based on the same, based on the same pathways, I guess you would say, formulas. Now, again, we're going from a 500 gig or 1.5 terabyte to a full terabyte. Is that really an upgrade?
It's a hard drive improvement. I want to call that an upgrade at all.
No, exactly. It's just basically another iteration.
I feel like it depends on how you use
it. Exactly. And that's the thing, is depends on how you look at it, how you look at it.
Because if you look at it from like the PC perspective, depending on what you're doing, you might need to do that upgrade to continue using software that you need, because it's not enough to do stuff with.
Correct. So when you go from one graphics card to the next, if everything's the same, did you upgrade? Or did you buy a new PC? No, that's an upgrade. Yes, everything else changes. You went from a 1080p gaming to 1440p or 4K gaming, depending on your frame rates. So again, everything depends on what you're doing. They've only updated the hard drive. Now, what if they updated the hard drive and they update the Wi-Fi? right? We use the newest, latest, greatest Wi-Fi.
But I'm not going to pay $500 for that. That's not worth my money.
That's not $500.
That's my point.
It's not. It's
but that's my point. If that's what they upgraded in it, I'm not going to get rid of my current Series X that I already paid $500 for and buy another Series X with just upgraded Wi-Fi or upgraded hard drive and Wi-Fi. That's not enough.
Oh, it's not a reason to upgrade.
That's my point.
No. But what if you have more hard drive space when you're lacking hard drive space?
I mean, isn't that what that external hard drive is for?
That is.
I could just upgrade that and save money.
When you buy that, you might as well buy a whole new console.
No way, Jose.
I mean, yeah, because that stuff is like a couple $100.
That was the whole point. If you buy a 2 terabyte, at the time was $400. Okay, yes, the prices are dropping a little bit.
That's like $350 now.
If you buy a 2 terabyte to counteract the 0.5, right, half a terabyte, so you might as well just bought two different consoles.
And so right now the 2 terabyte is $280, half the price, a little over half the price of the console.
So if you were to trade in your current one for the new one with that, then you would, you'd be able to get that new one, and you would have fresh new.
What was that word you used?
What?
What was that word? The T
trade.
Word? What the hell? That's a 4-letter word in my house.
Doesn't
happen. I keep everything.
Yeah, trade in the
negative on the trade in.
The first generation Series X towards the new generation Series X. You get that big chunk of money taken off that cost, and now you're paying basically the cost if you were just to buy the new memory card.
Where do you want me
and now you
trade in?
So now you have a fresh new console that hasn't been worn and used day in and day out for the last 3 years, 4 years, however.
It doesn't have that Axle touch to it. No way! I never traded. I won't say I never traded. I gift my consoles to my nieces and nephews. So,
but you see, and that's the thing is, eventually, where's the line when you say mid-gen refresh?
Okay, so
what's
the
difference between that, really, right? It's a refresh. Is this not a refresh? It's not an upgrade.
No,
but it's a refresh.
Not a refresh. Going slim is not a refresh to me. But let's take a pause for a minute here before we get too far separated from the topic. Terry, we had a poll on the Xbox One X.
Did you buy the Xbox One X? 53% said, hell yeah, 4K, HDR, faster, gotta have it. And then 46% said, hell no, I'm not spending more money.
And shout out to RWK88 for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Let's see. So Sir X-Men says, I love Xbox and I need to just work with that. I think he says, and they need to just work with what they have. No upgrade. And Doggy Dog says, please no mid-gen refresh. I don't feel like paying $650 for another console or messing with trying to find one.
Scalpers.
The hardware won't truly be pushed until the end of the generation.
Exactly.
Last gen, mid-gen because of 4K, so no need this gen.
No, that's exactly.
eBay scalpers are licking their chops at the thought of a PS5 Pro.
They definitely are.
Fastback says those are more iterations than mid-gen refreshes. I agree with Fastback on that.
Well,
so back on topic, and by the way, thanks a lot, Fastback, putting us.
We're looking at mid-gen refreshes, right?
Right.
So what would constitute a refresh? Could there be another die? Could there be more memory on board?
Nope, none of that. Those are iterations. I agree here. Crazy Greek dude, I totally agree with what he says. If an SSD is a mid-gen refresh, and a special edition console is also a mid-gen refresh. Hey man, I got my mid-gen refresh Halo special edition Xbox Series X. So yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, it has a different boot up sound.
I disagree with that because if you're getting an SSD upgrade, you're getting something more than what it has. If it's just a special edition, it literally could just be a skin slapped on it. Nothing else has changed. It's just a cover. But nothing's been upgraded. So no, I don't count that.
Yeah. And here's where I fall in line with. I agree with that too. because you're getting more than what you had. Just that's why I brought up the Wi-Fi, the newest Wi-Fi standard. If you brought that up, now what if you had more ray tracing cores? What if you had more memory? What if you had more of this, more of that, more of this other stuff? You know, a USB-C connector, so that way the data could actually transfer both coming and back. What if you had faster APU? What if you had, you know what I mean? So you're actually not using the AMD chips that we're using now, but they're using the next iteration of the chips that you're using. If they're
using like if they're not using, if it's not an identical console with its change of skin, then yeah, I would see it as, you know, it's a refresh. But if they're taking the exact same console and they're slapping a Halo skin on it and selling it in a bundle pack, no, that's not a refresh.
Right, and it's right there. Crazy Greek Dudes even says HDMI was a refresh for the 360, but it also included internal Wi-Fi where you didn't have to buy it separately.
Yeah, I remember buying the little card.
So I
still have it.
Right, it came with Wi-Fi. It had the HDMI on there. It had a few other things, even though it was basically the same. Here's my only issue with I want this stuff. I want it more of an iteration than a refresh, and it could still be a refresh. It's not a refresh like we're thinking, like where we went from an Xbox One S to an Xbox One X. Okay, it was a little different.
Yeah, that was a mid-gen refresh. Yeah,
right. It's a little different there.
Significant, like what the X could do, and the games when you started getting those 4K patches and their HDR packages, and you had the right TV. It was night and day. Trust me.
Yeah. And then going back to the 360, there's a 360e out there, what was completely different when it came to how, you know, because they stripped a lot of that stuff down. But here's my issue with an upgrade. Okay, I would prefer a refresh, which I think that's more so closer to bringing it up to more of today's standards. And I think that's why, again, it's the verbiage that we're using that gets everybody confused. And this is why we're all on different sides of the fence. And it's only two sides. It's either this or it's that. But yet we found like 5 different fence posts that we're all standing on this one fence that really shouldn't have that many posts. You know, it should only be 2 posts. But yet here we are, right? So when you do a refresh, okay, we are still not using the power that this console is supposed to do currently with the software that's supposed to be available to it and the software that is yet to be finalized for the tools to be available. They're still working on this stuff. So when you look at it, okay, where do we go from here? Should we refresh? Okay, well, I don't have an issue with a hard drive refresh. Okay, so if you look at it like that, if we do like an incremental refresh when it doesn't really change the way that you have to make a game, right? Because that's what you had to do when you went from the Xbox One, Xbox One S to the Xbox One X. You had to make the game differently for that. Not much, but different, because now you can actually do high resolutions, you can do faster frame rates. It had more capability. Okay, so this refresh, that's why I don't see it as a refresh when you went from the 1 to the 1X, but it's considered a refresh. I think that mid-gen refresh is also, again, changing up the way our thought processes on what a refresh is. Because you look at the 360, you look at any of the PlayStations, it didn't change anything up until last gen, where the
chipset changed significantly.
Right. Everything changed.
Yeah, the chipset, the hard drive, the RAM, all of that changed.
Right.
It was basically another console.
Correct.
Like a backwards compatible console.
Correct. And that's why I don't, even though it's still within that generation, so let's say Gen 9.5 like we see on screen, I don't think we need a Gen 9.5. And that's why they got the PS5 Pro saying Gen 9.5. However, if it can do more without changing anything, because it should, because of the tools will be there, then you don't need it. But we need a refresh for the console to get more RAM. Or I'm sorry, not more RAM, more hard drive space. We need more.
Make it M.2 compatible. That would go a long way.
That would be too. Yeah, you do something. Well, actually, it is M.2 compatible because I've got an M.2 right now on my Series X.
Ooh, can you play off it?
Yes, I can.
Did you hack it?
Nope.
Are you cheating? Are you cheating, Dreadpool? Are you exploiting?
I actually am exploiting. I'm exploiting my words because it will play all the non-series games.
Oh, okay.
But it will play them faster.
Right.
It will play them as fast as the internal hard drive does or the expansion card. But it's non-S games, obviously. So again, it just when you look at it, the verbiage that we use, we've diluted its meaning when we're being very specific to this information, to this part of it. And that's why it's important to clarify what we're talking about when we're talking about a mid-gen refresh, when we're talking about these consoles and what each console is doing. Those two consoles from last year, totally different.
Yeah.
Than we've ever had. And that's why people are assuming we're not going to go to 8K. I mean, games right now on the One X was doing 6K, but it was producing 4K. It was internally doing 6K. Okay, so the game's very simplistic. It's a fun game, nonetheless, but there were games that were simplistic enough that they could render higher, but they couldn't push it out from the console. So be mindful of what is being said out there, because again, people are not on the same page to what these meanings are when you say refresh,
right?
Especially for the mid-gen. We need mid-gen refreshes. They're more likely of an iteration.
Yeah, mid-gen iterations is more like it.
You're right. Like I said, 1.1, 1.5, 1.8 until at 1.9 to 2.0. Is there that much of a change? Or if you went from 1.1 to 1.2, was those points don't make that much of a change. And usually when you go from 1 point whatever to a 2, there's enough there to be said that it's a totally different revision per se than anything else. But at 1.9 to 1.95 to 2, how much of a change is there?
Right. So, and that's the thing. What would justify your money, right? So, like, I see the iterations, the slims going over from regular consoles to slim. First off, the PS5 needs a slim model. It needs a dwarf model because that thing is a freaking space heater, right?
It's huge.
It's huge.
Unless you live up in the north where you need that heat.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And make sure you hold it vertically to get that liquid metal heating up. So, the thing about that is that it needs a resize. I feel that the series consoles are already small enough.
Yeah.
They don't need slim models at all, right? So it doesn't need to iterate. I really don't feel that the Xbox needs to iterate. I really don't feel that the hardcore gamer, the hardcore enthusiast console gamer, I don't think they can add anything feature set wise that will justify an iteration. Like, what can they do other than maybe add back buttons to the controller? Like little paddles like an Elite. But then that's just the controller. Like, there's nothing the console, the actual box itself can do, in my opinion, other than maybe become M.2 compatible. That is really gonna lift the console up. And that M.2 compatible, I mean playing Series X games off the M.2 compatibility expansion, right? Wi-Fi 6, whatever. Most people have their consoles plugged in. I know I do. That these upgrades are not the upgrades, the iterations are targeted towards the enthusiast, right? And if you're going to have a major upgrade, and I'm talking like Gen 9 a jump from 9, instead of going from 9 9.0 to 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, that you're going to skip everything and go directly to 9.5. It has to be something akin to last generation, where the entire chipset was new, the RAM was new, the hard drive was new, even. Everything was new about it. The Bluetooth connectivity on your controller was new. It was basically just a backwards compatible next gen console, because the jump from 1080p with no HDR to 4K HDR, if you had the right TV, is significant. You might not notice it now, but trust me, plug that Xbox to your old TV, it's significant. That HDR made more difference than the 4K did, right? That extra color palette, especially with the right TV, that extra color palette just made everything brighter, made everything better. I just don't see what they could improve. Like, I'm scratching my head at what PC does, because consoles are always chasing PCs. I'm scratching my head at what a PC does that a console could do to justify a huge leap to skip 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 and go directly to 0.5. And I can't think of anything outside of frames. Outside of frames, obviously the consoles can render in 4K, so that's not going to be it. 8K, nobody wants that right now. I don't even know one person that has an 8K TV. And even if they did, what are they watching in 8K? You can't even stream in 8K. And I don't think 8K movies exist, do they? Somebody correct me.
I push out my videos on 8K.
Do you record them in 8K?
No, I upscale them to 8K.
Okay, yeah, see? So that's my point. Like, if it is 8K, it must be upscaling using, using upscalers.
Well, if you go to like Animal Channel, they are actually using 8K video footage and all that. I just don't have the means to do it, so I upscale. Yeah. However, they do it naturally, and it's out there. So there's a lot of animal footage out there. There are some places that still are doing smaller pieces, but it takes so much bandwidth. When I stream, I was even streaming 8K, and it was still pushing out. YouTube was putting it out even after the fact at 4K, which is why I brought it back down. So yeah. games that I'm playing at 4K, I'm streaming at 4K.
Right. And that's fine, because 4K is something that a lot of people have access to nowadays. I don't even think. Okay, maybe this is just me. When I go to Best Buy, I don't even look at the 1080p TVs anymore. The HD TVs anymore. I look at the UHDs, the 4Ks, right? And I don't know, maybe the next one is going to be Mega 4K. I don't know what it's going to be called, right? Or Mega HD, the 8K ones. But I don't look at those because there's not enough content out there for me to justify that purchase. And of course, if a console did it, then yeah, there's enough content if the developers make 8K games. But right now, the fight is for frames. I think as developers are doing, they're going to stick to 4K top end resolution and try to fight that frame rate fight, right, on console. And I just don't see. I mean, that APU will have to be so much more powerful on an Xbox to reach 60 frames on a game like Starfield than it currently is, that it would not be a $500 console. It would easily be $750 to $1,000.
Well, think about this. When you have games that can brick, or at least put down a 4090 to a crawl, that's called optimization. That's the problem.
Yeah,
and I agree. These games are not optimized for the Xbox. If they're not optimized for the 4090, then obviously they're not optimized for Xbox, they're not optimized for PlayStation, not optimized for Nintendo, none of that stuff. Right. So whether or not you can play them on there, that's a different story. But you're looking at a hardware that is supposed to be more than capable, and that's why we had this whole era of Cyberpunk. The games were made for PC and Gen 8 consoles, not Gen 9. And the reason why Gen 9 consoles were able to handle it, because they were brute forcing their way through these games, because the game was not optimized properly for the PS4 or the Xbox,
Xbox
One. Yeah.
So
it didn't matter if it was a Pro or not. it was not optimized. The Pro and the X had more power to do it, but again, there was not enough power there. Where these next gen consoles were able to brute force everything through there. And now you're looking at games now with a 4090 can't even brute force its way through some of these games. That's why we don't need
with an i9
Pro,
Extreme.
Right. We don't need the next gen 9.5. We need these games to be better optimized because you look at games that came out on Gen 7 at the very end. We milked it for all we could for what it was. And then when you went from that jump to the 360, it was a huge leap. And then you look from the beginning of the 360 to the end of 360, another huge leap and that was a gradual leap. That's people learning how to milk every little ounce out of those consoles.
Yeah.
And now here we are with the one, your Gen 8, where they didn't do as much as they could have, but then you go to 9 where they're still trying to push boundaries, but yet have yet to clean up and learn how to milk everything out of there.
Right.
Because you look at games like Gears of War 5, they figured out how to switch from CPU to GPU and get more power out of there to assist the CPU, because the CPU really hadn't changed. You had more GPU power.
Yeah,
well, here we are now with better in everything, in every aspect, but yet not enough still.
Yeah, and like I said, so I bought the Xbox One X because it was such a huge leap. It skipped that 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 and went straight to 0.5, if you will. And there was nothing wrong with my Xbox One Fat, my Xbox One OG, my Kinect Xbox. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. I was happy with it, but man, what a difference. And I just can't think of anything that the current gen can do other than just optimize. Plus, Xbox developers already have to develop for the Series S and X, and now you're going to give them the X Pro or XL or X2 or whatever you want to call it, right? You're going to give them a third SKU to optimize too, and it's just going to add more development time to games. And that's why I think Xbox should definitely not do a Gen 9.5 upgrade, in my opinion. Even if the competition does, I don't think we should. And that is my opinion, just because what we have is powerful enough. Like if you have the right setup with the right TV, with the right sound system, that Xbox Series console is amazing. You have that Dolby Atmos on there. If you paid for it, it's amazing. You have the Dolby Vision on there. If you have the right setup, it's amazing. It's very capable of melting your eyeballs and, making you hear angels sing while you're blowing someone's head up, I guess, because it's so well done. There's a lot there. So if they do come out with a Gen 9, I don't want them to come out with a Gen 9.5, because what they have is good enough, in my opinion. Outside of frames and getting a whole new chipset, there's just nothing that I want my Xbox Series console to do that it can't already do. And that was another upgrade between the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, was that Dolby Atmos edition, if you remember, Dread.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's check in with the chat here. Let's see. Just clean your console and that will be a refresh. Shout out to Fastback. Thank you so much. Eternal Shaddai says, good morning, everyone. This message is for CoolCatTerri. Yes, we do need a Banjo-Kazooie. What we don't need is Skull and Bones. If you want to ship battle, there's a game dedicated to that. It's called Sea of Thieves. Oh, man. And Terry shoots back. Terry, you want to shoot back on air here?
Then using your words, if you want Banjo, just play the current one.
There you go. It's backward. It's on Game Pass. PlayStation needs a Slim for real, though. That boat looks ugly as hell. It really does.
It's not what my wife calls it.
It really does.
That's one of the things I do like when it comes to the consoles doing like refreshes, is when they make smaller versions, because
those are just iterations, not really refreshes.
That's all I need, is it just to be smaller. Like I don't like that really helps.
Yeah, it does help. In my opinion, Sony might need to have a mid-fresh console to either be equal or better against Xbox. As of right now, Xbox Series X doesn't need a mid. We have seen what the console can do. Even the PS5, I don't think needs a jump, a 9.5 jump.
Like I said,
it's a very capable console as well.
Like I said in the beginning, they're not making games that are fully utilizing any of the hardware. So why make the hardware perform better when we're not playing anything that does it?
Are you serious? Are you kidding me? I played God of War with my haptics on, and it felt no better than just Rumble, but it's there. Let's see. As soon as PS5 comes out with a super slim, then I'll buy.
There you go.
Xbox Series X Mini and Series S Nano. That would be something, right? Let's see. And Terry and Shaddai and Terry are still going at it. Let's see. Shaddai, Terry, the difference is Banjo is well known. Using your words about current games, they pretty much need to be better. Example, Yooka-Laylee is a new game, but not at the same level as Banjo. Okay. Shout out to Shaddai. By the way, Shaddai will be here next week. I think he's still planning on being here next week. So if you guys miss Shaddai, he will be here next week. Shout out to Shaddai. Let's see. That jump in HDR was a larger jump than 360 to 1. Yeah. That HDR really made a difference. That color palette. I see a lot of popping in games with my Series X. Maybe they could clean that up with hardware. Really? Well, then again, I have a VRR turned on, and I know that VRR helps with all the choppiness and things of that nature. But I do see pop in a game like Forza Horizon 5 when I'm doing like an ultra jump. But that's okay.
It could also be the TV. So it's hard to say with not knowing everything that, between the setup and the TV setup. So,
or yeah, because like even if you have a good TV, you might not have your settings right either.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy Greek Dude says $9.99 console, Microsoft would be selling it at a huge loss. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to throw, I mean, if Microsoft put like, I don't know what the AMD equivalent to an i9 Extreme is, but, if they put that on there, then yeah, maybe you'll get 60 frames, but it would be brute force. It would be brute force at that point, non-optimization. This gen is capable of 60 frames per second. Not every game is dependent on the type of game. Yeah. I know that every generation we have jumps, and no matter what, games look good to me. Like, I do prefer 60. I have long said that I don't think any game should come out from first party that's not 60. But I will still play the 30 frames per the 30 frames games just because it's all there is. So I'm not gonna like, oh, it's not 60. I'm not buying it. I'm not like that. But I still believe
you're not gonna be a snooty elitist.
No, but I still stand by my statement that yes, every first party game should be 60 because Xbox has to show the world, the third party development world that it is possible.
I'm only saying that because there's the people that claim that they can't play 30 frame games because it gives them headaches. Then how did they survive the whole entire last generation and before that?
Well, they like to go back to Mario and use the CRTs where 60, all games were 60 frames. And I'm like, no, you're wrong, actually.
I always laugh. I always laugh when I see some schmuck go on there and say, I can't play 30 frames. It gives me headaches.
CRT is not.
How come you didn't have headaches before?
How do you watch TV? Some people do movies? Have. See, here's the other thing. That
movies at like 23 frames or something like that.
They're 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
Now here's the other thing. Some people do have an issue. The problem is when you're looking at it, it's the same thing with VR. When you're in VR, your equilibrium says I'm not moving, but your brain's saying I'm moving.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that issue. Now, when you go back to Mario and you're looking at Super Nintendo games being 60 frames a second, that was also on CRT, which was interlaced. So technically, those were 30 frames a second, or actually 29 points. Something.
Yeah, it would skip a frame every
because it would draw half the line all the way down and then go back up and then draw the other half. And as because of the phosphate, that first set of lines that it would draw would start fading out, and then it would come back in and refresh with the next set. So you're actually looking at half of picture frame for that second as it was shifting from the next one to the next, and you don't even realize that you're looking at half the information. And that's why they're like, oh, it's 60 frames a second. No, it's not. Now, when it comes to the newer TVs, that's why you have interlace, which was that, because you're interlacing in between.
Now you have P.
And now you have P, which is progressive. It's all at the same time. They all light up at a certain thing, and then they all die off and then light up with the next frame. Basically, the feed. Did I just die?
Looks like everything refreshed.
No,
there you go.
I'm dying for some reason. My connection switched to Wi-Fi instead of hardwired.
Oh, that's that extra long line you ran. So as I was saying, it's actually 60 frames a second, 60 hertz, right? But it's going one direction and then comes back down and goes the other direction. So you're going from positive to negative, and that's your hertz. That's the whole thing, and that's why people were having issues. So the statement of people getting headaches is false, but it is true for them. It's a different outcome, because they're not just sitting back watching, they're sitting back trying to control, and it causes headaches.
That's more of a motion sickness, though.
Right.
Yeah, that has very little to do with frames and more motion sickness.
But I'm talking about watching TV.
Yeah, some people get
not have an
motion
issue
sick watching TV.
Right.
Because the world is moving. Their brain is trying to process the world moving, and they're not.
I'll process a pan from a video that goes from left to right, and I'll see spots where it's freezing. Some people are more susceptible to that than others.
Some people definitely
I'll go
have
back
more
and replay
sensitive.
it, and it's not there.
Yeah.
So it just depends. I mean, I don't have that issue, but yet I see certain things also. But when I go back and replay it, even though it's off a disc, it doesn't have to be off a stream. It could be off a disc, and it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So you can't say, because I was always saying that you're lying about this, but there are some people that have developed a sensitivity because they've gotten used to the smoothness of the other. So there's only so much. It's hard to argue, but at the same time, I call a lot of it BS, because some people are just saying it because they have these wants and needs that it has to be this or it's no good.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Yeah, I don't have that problem, thank God. So, my vision is already bad. These glasses are thick, guys. So I'm not going to be complaining about seeing extra lines. For all I know, that's just reflection off my glasses. RWK88 says, I only had an Xbox One when Resident Evil 2 Remake came out, and I'll be honest, it looked and played great on it. Yeah, absolutely. They are amazing. Crazy Greek Dude says, we need to see that velocity architecture and that variable rate shading in the games. Yeah, we need those mesh shaders. That's right. Got advertised. Where are they? I agree, Crazy Greek Dude. Back to work. People rolling in. It was nice breaking in. Chat for once. Time to cook. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Crazy Greek Dude, we appreciate you. And shout out to Scott Free. He joins us. Thank you so much for stopping by, Scott Free. He says the Series X is the mid-gen upgrade. Just stop supporting the S and support the X. Oh, all right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My friend has an S, and they're very happy with it. But my friend is one of those guys that would rather spend his money on vacations than on games. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. Let's see. Xbox is about gaming on multiple devices, and if Xbox gamers want more, then go to a PC. If can, but PS, they can go to a PC if they can. Okay, but PS5 gamers don't have that choice on day one first party. Yeah, absolutely. And hey, compromises must be made, right? RWK88 says, I have an LG C1. I did the settings when my Xbox Series X comes through as a PC. Yeah, I did the HDMI pass through to the ARC HDMI. Yep, I did that too. Scott Free says, whoa, I thought my internet cut off. No, it was definitely mine. And shout out to Korede Oguremi. He says, what happened? I have no idea. My computer just switched from cable to Wi-Fi, and I switched it back. So sorry about that, guys. Last one, midstream refresh. That's right. And shout out to Corretti Ogunremi for joining us. Corretti Ogunremi. Ogunremi? I want to say that's how it is. That's how it is for me. Okay. Shout out. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. And Ice Queen Gaming joins us. Shout out to Ice Queen Gaming. She said, hey, I'm okay, and I'm hearing thunder and rain right now in the UK. Hey, thank you so much for joining us, Ice Queen Gaming. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. And Robbie Henriksen, shout out to Robbie Henriksen. First time I recognize that name. He says, hello, you bro. Hey, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. And let's see. I was so happy with my Series S. I didn't care that I lost my Series X. Whoa. I don't know how you lost it, but hopefully you found it or something, right? Let's see. I don't mean don't make games for a one. I mean, just support the X features and strengths more than S. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But, the Series S definitely has its audience, my friend being one of them. He has no intention to buy a Series X, and he loves that the Series S was available at such a great price point for him. And why not? He can play all the games in the world with us at a 1080p or better, and he loves it. He loves his Series S. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the Gen 9 content. Any last thoughts on the Gen 9?
No.
Good.
All right. Let's see. Playing Diablo 4 as I listen in, level 45 and counting. Hey, General Spartan, that's awesome. That's a great game. Computer wanted to do 30 FPS and was tired from doing 30 FPS. Yeah, my computer. Yeah. Let's see. Ask which all languages you speak. Name main Swedish, Danish, Norway, Russian, German, French, Spanish, and English. Holy cow. I only speak English and Spanish. Anybody else here multilingual?
Poquito on the Spanish.
Poquito on the Spanish.
I know a little bit, but I forgot most of the Spanish.
I was not really fluent, but in American Sign Language, and same thing with Greek.
Yeah, when I was in the Middle East, I learned some Arabic, but I haven't practiced it in years, so I forgot it.
Ugh.
Yeah, so my wife speaks 4 languages fluently. So yeah, shout out to those multilingual people.
That's for the most part. It's one of like the downfalls of like Americans is we are not, well versed in languages compared to the rest of the world.
It's because of the rest of the world uses English as a second language.
Yeah, it allows us to be lazy.
It does. It does.
One of my favorite things to tease some of my coworkers on was like, they're one of those hardcore people like, oh, in America, we speak American. I'm like, oh, what's American? English. No, that's English. You want to speak American? Start talking Navajo to me.
No, there's, oh my gosh, no. But the dialect is, English. There is the English dialect and the American English dialect. Just like Spanish, there's the Mexican Spanish and in Spain Spanish. It is different.
It's not just Mexican Spanish. You got Puerto Rican, you got Dominican.
Yeah, got a lot of them.
Cuban Spanish is so different from Mexican Spanish. I've
asked friends. I said, "Hey, what does this mean?" And they're like, "Well, it means this." I'm like, "I thought, And they're like, some of them are like, "Oh, you can't say that. That's a bad word." I'm like, "But the other guy said it meant this," and it's like, "No." So certain dialects, certain words are completely different meaning, even though it's from the same source. It's just everything has changed, and some of it is also a mixture of other Spanish and Dutch, I think it is.
French. Dutch would be Spanish and Dutch would be more Brazilian Portuguese style.
Right. That's what Sync in South America. So again, we're lazy.
Yeah.
But some of us learned some stuff.
Yeah.
Some of us. I mean, who uses sign language as their third language? Me.
I mean, I know the curse words in sign language. Does that count?
I taught when my daughter, when Tiny Giant was a baby, I taught her sign language before she could actually speak.
That's
so
awesome.
We could actually talk to each other and know what she wanted or what was bothering her, if she was hungry, any of that stuff. And my wife was like looking at me like I'm crazy, but then she learned the basics also right along with my daughter. so that way we all three of us could communicate. And people are like, she's only like a year old. She was communicating. At 2, we were literally talking to each other without her actually speaking a word yet.
All right. That's pretty cool.
It's
I'm
amazing,
not gonna lie,
right?
that's pretty cool.
So yes, if you have a newborn, start teaching them sign language.
Don't be lazy. Sign language. All right. With that being said, it's time for Terry's Indie Spotlight. Let's get that rolling.
Everybody, I am back once again with another indie spotlight, and I hope you're excited. And this is our Axel show for the moment.
Sorry.
There we go. All right. So I got another great one for you guys. So you go ahead and look at this. Since we were speaking about pirates, or at least I was speaking about pirates. I know Axel was speaking about pirates a little bit earlier. We got some pirates. So check this one out.
Let's do it. Pirates. Cheating allowed.
Yes.
Set sail at dawn, sunny winds in the morn as we hunt for buried treasure. Let the ship next door go and wage their war, let them all bow down in terror. We'll fight against the tides of fate, the gold is ours, we cannot wait. So sing all night and chant all day. For we're the king of seas. And face that test our thirst grows for adventure. Let our battles rage, this is our stage, for we'll never surrender. We'll crush them all until they're just our mighty swords. We'll always trust, we live for the thrill of the hunt. For we're the king of seas.
Oh, King of Seas. Okay.
All right, you guys, King of Seas. All right, this game is available on all platforms. So whether you're PC, Xbox, PlayStation, if you want to play it on your Switch, have at it. It's an open world naval combat game in the same kind of styling as if you were to look at like Sid Meier, kind of like, Pirates kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to that style. You can customize your ships. You got like over 900 different things you can use to make your ship your own. You can also trade with different settlements. You can battle, ships. As you saw, the game is going to be all about you being part of like a naval. You're going to join like a navy, and you're going to fight off against those sneaky pirates who's, nasty pirates, man. All right. And they did have a recent monster update, so now you can also battle giant sea monsters. So very, very cool. There are talent upgrades as well, which will give the game more of an RPG effect. So that way it's not, it makes it fun, more of an action RPG kind of thing. So go ahead and check that out. There's treasure hunts. You can even go fishing. Some people, for whatever reason, think that if you have an RPG, there has to be fishing. So there's fishing. All right. Mm-hmm. So you can do that. And there's different difficulty settings in the game, which will then, change the multiplier for your bounties. So, higher difficulty, the more money. So take advantage of all that. It is a $25 game, but if you are a PC gamer, it is on sale right now on Steam for $5. So, go ahead and take advantage. Enjoy.
There you go. Get it on the summer Steam sale.
Yes.
How much for one sale?
For one sale.
And by the way, I forgot we had asked the chat a question because the connection issue. Terry, we had a poll.
We had a poll. If a PS5 Pro exists, should Xbox Series XL exist? I'm going to call it XL. All right. He put Pro. Right. I'm going to say XL. All right.
XL.
60% said no. The Series X is enough. 21% have no opinion. They don't know. And 17% said yes, that it should be more powerful. We got to keep, the Xbox, PlayStation war alive and well, I guess. So
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the question was about, Raby Henriksen. We appreciate you reminding me about that. because I had forgotten because of the snafu we had on stream. It's funny how like you can lose track of stuff while you're streaming. All right, let's great indie spotlight as always from Terry, and that game looks like a third-person Sea of Thieves, like a top-down isometric Sea of Thieves, which some people want.
Action RPG, so
yeah, definitely action RPG. And shout out to Jim Ryan, he joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Jim Ryan. We just finished talking about the PS5 Slim you're bringing out. So yeah, and the Robbie. Let's see. Robbie Henriksen says, "Can you show more news? Want to see and stream FTC One Microsoft deal Blizzard games." We covered that extensively last week, and until there's a decision made, there's really not much to do other than to give opinions of whether we think it's going to go through or not. I think it's going to go through. Yep. Microsoft's going to win. I think Terry said she thought it was going to win, and I believe DREADPOOL also thought it was going to go through. But yeah, we did cover that extensively last week. And shout out to Happy Cloud Gamer. He joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Happy Cloud Gamer. You're going to love this next topic because it's Terry's favorite topic. It's about vacations. Guys, it is the middle of the summer. Some of you may have already taken your summer vacation. Some of you are about to take your summer vacation, but I thought it would be an interesting topic to just, do a quick little opinion piece on how we vacation how we game on Xbox while we vacation. Now, here I'm showing xCloud, but there are many, many options available. Let's start it off with Terry, who has an interesting take.
Yeah, Terry. So for me, when I go on vacations, I don't really do any gaming, honestly. That's my time to get away and experience new things and check out a whole new area. So yeah, if I'm going somewhere, I want to try to take in everything I can and go full on tourist mode. So I'm not really gaming. And even when I'm at the hotel, I'm usually, I usually bring my laptop and I throw on Netflix and or Hulu or whatever I happen to have at the time. And I watch that because, cable that hotels have is usually junk anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's usually how I roll. I don't really do any gaming. So this isn't something that I take part in. It's just, I'm on vacation, dang it. I play games when I'm, wanting to wind down from work. Now I'm on vacation. I'm already wound down and I'm checking out all the new stuff.
Terry's like, there's no gaming on vacation.
No, it's like I gotta go check out all these things I couldn't do when I was home. Yeah, take advantage.
Yeah, hey, everybody games a little different. So Terry does not game on vacation. She says you shouldn't game on vacation. You should be on vacation when you're on vacation.
Yeah, like for me, if I'm on vacation, I want to do stuff that I can't do at home, and I can game at home. So it's time to put, unplug, man. We spend a lot of time, on screen. So for me, vacation, I have to unplug. All right.
Nothing wrong with that. DREADPOOL, how do you game while you're on vacation? Oh my God, there's a terrible picture. Do you game while you're on vacation?
I do, surprisingly, right? Mm-hmm. If you listen to the internet, some people think I game on Twitter, and I'm like, I'm not even on Twitter long enough to be gaming on Twitter.
Right.
But no, it's what I do is I try to stay away from everything and anything that has anything to do with my normal life. I try to do other things, try to get the new experiences, but I find myself going back into games of one way or the other, whether it's on the phone, just playing a couple things. I'll do my achievements, try to get that part of it out of there, so that way I do not the achievements, but the rewards. Mm-hmm. So I'll go through trying to earn what I can, and I find myself finding arcades in the most peculiar places. So that's always a fun part is to find a new place and play some arcades, because we don't get a chance to do that even when we're home. It's you got to make a plan for that. So going out and stuff like that. And sometimes I'll make certain things a game, because we got Tiny Giant, and so it may not be video games per se, but it'll be another type of game, just to keep the little one occupied, and kind of go from there. Just have a good time and try to catch up with people online when I can to for certain things. Like I said, it's just, there is no one thing that I do because it's all sporadic. But gaming does circle around it when you think about it, because if I can get squirreled off and find an arcade, or squirreled off and jump on the phone when there's some downtime, and see that this game's out, and or
Hey guys, the stream might reset here.
Okay.
My computer has frozen, so I'm going to try to unfreeze it while we're streaming. So if I disappear, you know why.
No
and
worries.
If the stream ends, I'm very sorry.
So
keep going, Dred.
But yeah, there's no one thing or another that I do. So it just depends on what I run into, and try to make everything an adventure. So even when I'm at home, I'm working on the computer playing games, and when I'm away on vacation, there's different things that I do to keep myself occupied. And like I said, there's no one answer to anything, because it's never going to be the same. And that's part of the adventure of when you go on vacation. You try to make a new experience, new memory, and kind of go from there. And like I said, gaming is usually found somewhere involved in between.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna go with what I'm doing here. Can you guys see me? I can't see anything right now.
Yes, we see you.
Okay, good. So I do game when I travel, though very, very lightly, because when I'm traveling, I'm like Terry. I'm taking in the sights. I'm not even connected to Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi they do have kind of sucks. But if they do have decent Wi-Fi with Xbox, what I end up doing is I end up going to the cloud, man. I end up using my xCloud on my phone, because as long as I have a Wi-Fi connection, I have my Xbox. So I actually bought a Razer Kishi. I don't know if you guys can see it here. And if the phone will rotate. And so I use my Razer Kishi for everything, man. And I still use it even now. And I play when I'm on my bed, because not only does this work with xCloud, it also works when I stream wirelessly from my own Xbox. Last night I was playing Diablo while I was in bed, and a lot of these games, even though if I don't have my Kishi on me, they have the touch controls, and it's really a lot better than people give it credit for. Now, no, competitive first-person shooters are not going to be it for you, but they are going to be decent enough for the single player. And I love this Razer Kishi because, as you can see, it folds up to a nice travel size piece here. Nice and portable. The other option I have is I have a little clip for my controller, the little Moga A. And I just put my phone right in there and it holds it.
I have a similar clip.
Yeah, and it's really nice. Again, I like my Kishi better because the weight is better. This one, it's top heavy, right? So you are going to be strained a little bit unless you're holding this just right. So I like my Razer Kishi better when I'm doing on-the-go gaming. But most of my on-the-go gaming happens on my phone. I have a huge Note with a nice big screen so I can see as big as I can. And that is just what I use when I'm gaming on the go. And I wish I could see what the chat uses, because I'm sure you guys are typing in lots of cool stuff. Okay, thank God. Okay, I have control of my computer again. Okay, there we go. Appreciate that. So yeah, appreciate the patience, chat. Sorry about that. Everything just kind of froze. Let me hit a button. Hopefully nothing bad happens. There we go. So yeah, right here, what I'm showing up here on the screen, the cloud gaming, that is what I do. They have the little Razer Kishi right here. That is my preferred way. Now I have a Gen 1 Razer Kishi, which with Android buttons, so the colors are off, as you can see. And it doesn't have Xbox buttons. But now they sell a Razer Kishi version 2 with Xbox, so that all the layout is like Xbox. All the colors are like Xbox. Everything is Xbox. And it is decent, guys. It is a decent experience. I was thinking about getting that ROG, Asus ROG Ally, to install games natively and play those natively, because you don't need a real stable connection to log into some of these games just for the online check-in. You just need to do the check-in, and then it just lets you play that single player game however you want. So I was thinking about getting that ROG Ally for even better on the go gaming when I vacation. And as I said, it's very light, but when I do, an hour every other day or something, I like using my little devices. Terry, I know you said you wouldn't want the ROG Ally, but if you were stuck in an island with Wi-Fi, would you have a ROG Ally, or would you prefer the cloud gaming?
Ooh. Well, that's tough. I mean, the ROG Island, the Ally is cool. I don't know, like maybe cloud. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's like it's tough because Wi-Fi just isn't always that good. So like I feel like they would both have a lot of negatives on an island in the middle of nowhere. It's not like I can call support. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Ally. I like everything being one unit. I don't like it being like attached to stuff. So like I'd probably go the Ally. I would want everything to be just one unit.
Yeah, just natively. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people prefer native, and that's the big attraction to a system like the ROG Ally, except that price tag. DREADPOOL, I know you want one. We were trying to convince your wife to let you buy one. Are you still in the market for a ROG Ally?
Actually, after some of the reviews I've seen, I'm holding off because I want to see more. I've seen some reviews saying, talking against it. I've seen, a lot of our friends talking for it. So it's like, not that I don't trust my friends. I just want to see the longevity of it and see where it lands, because I trust my friends, but I do have curiosities of these other people, and they're not in the gaming space of the console warring. They're more on the computer side of the space.
Yeah.
So they are, they're top tier people that have issues, and if they're top tier people that have issues, I am curious as to why. And some of them just do reviews, and they again, they have no skin in the game here when it comes to either or. So right. I use them as a curiosity. So I still would like one, but again, for the price, it's kind of hard to justify it right now. And I would rather spend a few more hundred, probably more like another 1,000 or so.
Whoa, on a PC?
Laptop.
A laptop, yeah. A gaming laptop.
Gaming laptop, because
that's
again,
right. You can bring your gaming laptop with you, connect it to,
and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And still hook up your controller. So again, it just depends on the space that you have, where you're at. There's so many factors. But for me, because I am a creator, to me, having access to work and play is more beneficial. But again, I can't bring the laptop with me if we're riding somewhere. Let's say we have to ride a bus ride to something. I couldn't pop out the laptop and play. Whereas if you have a Kishi or even just your phone, and that's where I would have my phone anyway. But for something like that, and that's where I would use my phone, would be like a touchscreen, because I really wouldn't be bringing my controller. I've done it at work, brought the controller with, and only played maybe once or twice on break. The rest of it was either touchscreen or forget it. So
yeah, that
touchscreen
is amazing, though.
Yeah,
like the buttons, it's so convenient.
And doing that with the laptop, it depends on the convenience, where you're at, the situation. It's hard to play something like that when you're on a bus or in a car where you're moving around. You can't really do that. So again, it just depends. But for me, a laptop would be more beneficial overall. Again, I would work and play, so it wouldn't be just play.
Yeah, if I'm going on vacation, the last thing I'm doing is working. I'm just saying, but like for you, what you mean by work is content create, which is technically not working for you.
Correct. Right? It is work, but it's not.
Yeah, it's self-driven work.
Correct.
It's different. Yeah. No, for me, if I'm going on vacation, I'm not dragging a big laptop with me. I'm dragging my my Kishi. The problem is, like, when I'm on an airplane, your Kishi is useless. The cloud gaming doesn't work. That's where the big attraction to something like a ROG Ally comes in, because you can install it natively and run it offline if it's an offline game. And not just Xbox games, but you could also install your Steam Deck your Steam games and stuff on there too. So yeah, there's definitely options, and I'm really glad that Xbox gives you options. I really wish more people would embrace the cloud, because it's so much better than you think. Right? Happy Cloud Gamer, back me up, buddy. Let's check in with the chat real quick. Jim Ryan says PS5 Slim will outsell the Xbox 6-1. And Dog and Dog says, "Oh, good. Jim Ryan is here with all his positivity." Oh my gosh. Jesse Darby says, "Jim, start crying now and flying, because that's all you're good for." Oh my goodness.
Oh
my goodness. And Jim Ryan says, "I'm flying out to have dinner with Lena Khan this week to celebrate the injunction." I love it.
A little spicy there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Raby Henriksen says, come in day one, Call of Duty, Game Pass, Diablo, Overwatch, World of Warcraft. Yeah. That's as Xbox ecosystem gamers, that's obviously what we want. We want more games, more big games day one. And that's the big attraction to Game Pass. So yeah, we definitely want all of that. And World of Warcraft would be awesome. I don't game much on my holidays if I'm not at home. Yeah. Some people don't. You're just like Terry.
I'm sorry. I go to Universal and Disney World. When I'm out there, there's less time for gaming. It's hard to even listen to a stream, like, usually, because Tiny Giant's birthday is right around E3, and I'd be at E3 with the earplug in my ear, listening to a podcast, trying to stand in line. Other than that, I'm no longer listening because I'm on a ride. So again, trying to game something like that, it just depends on where you're at. If you're in line, they have cell phone games that we've played before. But again, it's just, you're in the moment. It's hard to do stuff like that. So that's completely understandable.
Yeah. When I go to Indonesia to visit with my wife's family, I bring my portable gaming systems with me, but I very rarely play them because either tired, I want to go to sleep. 2, I'd rather engage with what's going on, even there's a language barrier, like my nieces and nephews, they're multilingual. I'd rather engage with them and ask them questions. And to me, that's more valuable than playing games and stuff, because they're my nieces and nephews, and there's only a short window of time where they're going to want my attention. Right. And so I really am not sacrificing any of that. So if they want to talk to me and they want to practice their English with me, or tell me stories or tell me jokes, I'm going to listen, right?
Well, you also don't want to be rude.
Well, I mean, it's just, you're going to enjoy those things, because as I said, sooner or later, they'll become teenagers that don't want to engage with you. And then until they become bigger adults, that's when they'll re-engage with you, right? But that small window of time when they're young and want your attention is so slim and so fast, I don't want to miss it. And so anytime I do take all these things with me, but when I play it is if I'm not too tired, I'll play it right before I go to bed. And that's it. And like I said, maybe an hour. But that's if I'm not too tired, which, trust me, when I'm on vacation, I'll be running around in the sun. I'll be playing with my nieces and nephews as best I can, as physically as I can. By the time it's bedtime, I'm knocked out.
Well, you know what I do, right? I go back to work to recoup from my vacation.
Go back to work to recoup. Yeah. No kidding. No kidding on that one. No lies detected. Shout out to PK Entertainment. He joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, PK. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you. Hey, and let's see. Lots of chat people coming in, just talking positively. Oh, Exo Primal comes out this Thursday. Yeah. Coming day one from Capcom on Game Pass. Awesome Game Pass game. And PK said he was just lurking. And by the way, guys, if you are lurking, we appreciate you guys as well. You don't need to engage with us, just listening. And we really appreciate you, but you can really help us out while you're looking, and you hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate each and every one with you. Robbie Hendrickson says, worry when finish war 2023, 24, 25, 26, 27 war. Microsoft, Blizzard Games, Xbox, and to pass FTC. Okay. Sorry, Robbie Hendrickson said that sentence doesn't make sense to me at the moment.
I think
Anybody
he's,
else?
I think he's asking when this the trial is going to be over with and what year they're gonna bring everybody over.
Oh,
So I'm thinking 2023, and then shortly thereafter, everything will trickle in.
yeah. I would say it's very much like Bethesda. It took them a year and a half to trickle everything from Bethesda into Game Pass.
Yeah.
Everything that was already existing, right?
Yes.
I'm not talking about stuff that's new. Everything that was already existing. So I would say it closes in 23, and by 2025, everything from Activision Blizzard is on Game Pass as content.
Depending on the type of game.
World of Warcraft, I don't think will come to Game Pass.
I don't
a
see it either.
subscription-only game. I don't see it coming.
People have argued for it. I still don't see it. Even though their arguments make logistical sense. Because if you're still paying $15 an hour, or $15 an hour, if you're paying $15 a month,
I was going to say,
wouldn't
what?
that be the same? Yeah, and it makes sense, but I see them keeping it separate.
Yeah, it's I don't see them doing that. Same thing with like Elder Scrolls. You can download and play the free stuff online, but you can't play the full game.
The updates, the newest.
Yeah, the updates and stuff. So yeah, I see it more going the line of the.
I can see that. I
Of
can
the
see a
Elder
base.
Scrolls.
Yeah, I can see a base game, but not the expansions.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but PK says, I have a ROG Phone 6 gaming phone with intercooler. So there you go. He has this awesome ROG phone, the Asus phone. So there you go. ROG Phone 6. That's what he plays. Oh, here it is with Diablo Immortal. Oh, never mind. I just clicked on an ad. I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, he has that ROG Phone 6. Shout out to PK. The ROG phones look awesome because they have that tactile top button. That looks awesome to me. And Fastback says the Razer Kishi is great. So yeah, and he says that he also has a Steam Deck. Oh man, I want one of those. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. The only thing I want is for Ubisoft to bring back Sam Fisher. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Sam Fisher. Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Nobody cares about that. Jesse Darby, PlayStation Pro will be $1,000 and no one will buy it. But Jim Ryan wants to remind you guys that Spider-Man 2 is coming. So funny. So funny. Let's see. Yeah. And I think that's it. So, guys, thank you so much for sticking with us here, especially through the technical difficulties that I've had today. For some reason, my computer just froze. I think it's just old. It can't handle the internet anymore.
You got to read that last one from Dragonheart Yobi.
He says, I care, you jerk. One person. So what?
Two.
I'm just kidding.
I care.
I'm just kidding, Dragonheart. I think the Splinter Cell games are great, but as Ubisoft has says, nobody bought them. That's just the truth. Nobody bought them. So you guys might care, but not enough cared. So yeah. And Robbie Hendrickson says, Phil Spencer worry make next new Xbox Series X Pro. No, they're not going to make it. We covered that topic before you came in, Robbie Hendrickson. But yeah, they are not going to be putting out we don't think they're going to be putting out a Series X Pro, in our opinion. Nor do they need to.
An iteration, but not a Pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But guys, any other thoughts on vacations?
No. But if they do come out with the end of the gen version of the Series X and they call it an XL, I coined it first. All right.
There you go.
I think it's going to be an XY. So it should be
an XY. Oh my.
Sexy.
Xbox Series sexy. An Xbox sexy. That'd be something. Instead of square, it's a little curvy.
A little curvy.
No, I like the design. I like the tower of power they got going on.
People are amazed at how much heat it come out the top, and I'm like, it's because it's airflow efficient.
That's right. I work in aircon, and trust me, that thing is airflow efficient. But yeah, again, Robbie Henderson, we just don't think the Xbox Series X Pro is going to come out. I don't like low FPS games on a Series S. Well, I mean, the Series X is there. There's already an upgrade from the S to the X. But, we were saying that to get those frame rates, to brute force them, the chip would have to be so powerful. It'd have to be like $1,000 console, and at that, it'd be at a loss.
Yeah, and don't forget, Xbox is not the console. The Xbox is the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really need to, you can buy yourself a 4090 with the highest AMD or Intel chip, and brute force your way through it. You can probably get 440 if you know the game could be played that way.
Yeah. And Robbie is on the camp of he does want a mid-gen refresh, and hey, everybody wants what they want. You know, I bought the 1X, so I wanted it back then, but now I don't. Now I'm just like, no, I'd rather just keep what I have. All right, but with all that being said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We want to thank you guys so much for joining us. We wouldn't be able to have this podcast without you guys, the amazing chat, joining us. That's right, you guys, the chat will always be the MVP to any of the shows we do here on the Iconic Video Games channel. And with that being said, have yourselves a great rest of your weekend and a great week, and we will catch you guys next week. I'm Axel1324.
And I'm CoolCatTerri.
And I'm DREADPOOL.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye. I'd wave, but you can't see.